Today, we are diving into a connection that you've probably never even thought about. We're going to talk about how a geopolitical conflict over oil is creating this massive, unseen risk for the future of artificial intelligence. Seriously, we've got two giant forces at play here. One that's literally breaking the world apart, and another that's building brand new worlds, and they're colliding in a way that is going to define everything for the next decade.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What you're looking at here is the Geopolitical Threat Index. You see that huge spike way over on the right? Yeah, that's what's happening right now with the US-Iran conflict. This isn't just another headline we're scrolling past. We are living through one of the most tense global moments since the early 90s. I mean, it's even higher than the peaks during the Iraq War or the 2008 financial crisis. It's a big deal.
And look, this isn't just some abstract chart. The people on the inside, they are sounding the alarm. When the CEO of a company like Chevron, Mike Wirth, comes out and says this conflict is hitting the energy markets harder than the Russia-Ukraine war, well, that really puts the sheer scale of this disruption into perspective, doesn't it? He's basically saying this is a fundamental shock to the entire global system.
And this slide right here, this just captures the immediate fallout perfectly. A staggering 40% surge in oil prices. And that's not just some number that Wall Street traders worry about. Oh no. That is a shockwave that travels through every single part of our economy, from what you pay at the gas pump to the price of groceries at the store.
So, what does a global shockwave like that actually feel like on the ground? We're about to go from that big 30,000-foot view down to a country where these tremors are cracking the very foundation of its economy.
And that country is India. The impact there was incredibly swift and severe. This conflict triggered the slowest expansion of India's private sector in over 3 years. And get this, manufacturing activity hit its lowest point in almost 5 years. We're talking about a major engine of global growth that is suddenly starting to sputter. Now, what's really interesting here is just how fast this happened. The Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, it's like a vital sign for the health of the manufacturing sector. A drop from 56.9 to 53.8 in just 1 month, that is the steepest slowdown they've seen in a year and a half. It's a flashing red light for business activity.
And the really crucial thing to get here is that this isn't just one bad number. It's a cascade, a domino effect. You've got rising inflation, a fall in currency, gas shortages that are literally shutting down businesses. Even the production of essential stuff like fertilizer and aluminum is getting hit. This is a full-blown economic crisis in motion. But okay, here is where our story takes a really sharp turn. Because this fallout, it's not just about oil and factories. There is this hidden connection, a super fragile dependency that links this conflict in the Middle East directly to the AI revolution and to the very phone or computer you're watching this on right now.
So, we all know the Strait of Hormuz. It's the world's most critical choke point for oil, right? But what if I told you that oil and gas, they aren't the only critical resources flowing through that tiny waterway? Something else, something absolutely vital to our digital future, is also at risk.
To get this, we have to talk about Taiwan. I mean, it is the undisputed heart of the semiconductor world. It makes 90% of the most advanced chips that power everything from our iPhones to NVIDIA's AI accelerators. But here's its Achilles heel. It is almost entirely dependent on imported energy. And this is crazy. It has a dangerously low 11-day reserve of natural gas. Just 11 days.
And boom, there it is. That's the hidden connection. It's not just about having the energy to power the factories in Taiwan. It's about getting the raw materials to actually make the chips in the first place. Critical inputs like helium, which is processed in Qatar, and sulfur, a byproduct of refining oil, all of it has to pass through the Strait of Hormuz to get to Taiwan. The exact same choke point that threatens our gas supply also threatens our supply of AI.
Okay, so with all these interconnected risks, what in the world are investors and global companies supposed to do? I'll tell you one thing. The old rules just don't apply anymore.
The very first step is this massive shift in mindset. Geopolitical conflict, it's no longer a tail risk, some rare, once-in-a-blue-moon event. Nope. Now it's being treated as a structural risk, a permanent feature of the market that has to be planned for and priced in all the time. And what that does is it forces a complete rewrite of the investor playbook. The old way, focusing on predictable cycles, assuming trade is always stable, that's out. You can just throw that away. The new playbook is all about resilience, diversification, and investing in things that can withstand a world that's breaking apart. Geopolitics has moved from a footnote to the main headline.
So what does that actually mean? Well,
We can follow the trail. We can see where the smart money is heading. It's flowing into sectors that are either essential or defensive in this new era. We're talking defense, energy security, hard assets. But notice that last one. Investors are also making a major bet on artificial intelligence as this thing that's going to transform all the other sectors.
And that brings us to the other side of this whole story. Because while this world of geopolitical risk is grabbing all the headlines and fracturing our supply chains, there's a second, parallel revolution quietly building entirely new economies from scratch.
So let's just step back for a second and ask a really fundamental question. Is this story of destruction and conflict the only major disruption that's happening right now? Or is there another force at play, one that's maybe equally, if not more powerful?
While nations are fighting over physical stuff, a brand new digital economy is just exploding. You have these anonymous, faceless YouTube channels that are generating over $2 million a month just by using AI to create animated kids' songs. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry that's basically materializing out of thin air.
And if you doubt just how huge this is, just think about this for a second. The single most watched video in the history of YouTube isn't some blockbuster movie trailer or a song from a global superstar, it's Baby Shark, a simple, repetitive song for toddlers with over 16 billion views. It's all the proof you need that in this new economy, simple and catchy is king.
In the process, this reveals just how radical this whole shift is. The barrier to entry has completely collapsed. I mean, anyone, anywhere can now become a digital media mogul. You just prompt an AI for ideas, use another tool to create the entire video and song from that text, and upload it. A process that used to require a whole studio and a team of animators can now be done in minutes on a laptop. It's unbelievable.
So this is where we're left, standing right at the intersection of two incredibly powerful opposing forces. On one hand, you have a geopolitical disruption that's fracturing our physical world and threatening our most advanced tech. And on the other, you have this creative disruption that's building entire new economies from a simple line of text. So the question for all of us is, which of these forces will ultimately define our future?